Welcome to the Kelly File, everyone, and Happy New Year. I'm Megyn Kelly, live in New York tonight.
A Kelly File exclusive. New reaction as the Obama administration asks a judge to release the lawyer convicted of trying to help a terrorist, the blind sheikh who inspired the first trade tower attack. Plus, did we just get a glimpse of the future?
Now, in our time, we face a different crisis, an inequality crisis.
See why the Democrats' most likely pick for president is embracing the far-left message of America's most liberal mayor. And watch this. A man is shot and killed in a doorway, and look what happens.
How can you step over someone laying in a doorway and not help?
Why did all these people just ignore the dead man?
How would they feel if there had been one of their loved ones sitting there?
We'll investigate tonight on the Kelly File.
And breaking tonight on a snowy evening here in New York City and across much of the Northeast. It is day 2 of Obamacare, and we are getting new numbers from the White House now on enrollments. But the big question for most of America, is your health care better now than it was 1 year ago? Welcome again to the Kelly File, everyone. Earlier today, the White House reported more than 2 million people have enrolled, it says, in the federal and state exchanges. They had hoped it would be about 3 million. They say it's fallen short. But we still do not know how many of those 3 million people, 2 million people, have actually paid for their plans. How many of them actually do have coverage, or what happened to the 6 million people who have now been kicked off of their plans in recent months due to Obamacare. What we are hearing, insurers are reportedly getting thousands of faulty applications. 11 attorneys general are publicly slamming the president's health care fixes as illegal. And one of the Supreme Court justices nominated by President Obama has temporarily blocked part of the health care law from taking effect. Chris Direwalt is our Fox News digital politics editor and host of Power Play on FoxNews.com Live. So, Chris, now here we are in January of 2014 when Obamacare goes into full swing. And we've got, according to our brain room, it's now surpassed 6 million people, the number of people who've been thrown off of their plans. And the administration is touting the number 2.1 million as those who have actually enrolled for money. I mean, as opposed to Medicaid or so on, enrolled and are about to pay money for Obamacare coverage. So where do we stand?
Right, that is the part of actually having the insurance that actually gets you the medical care that you want or need. And that is a very open question. The very concerning thing now is that of these 2.1 million, now remember, these people they don't have insurance. They're enrolled. We don't know how many of them have insurance. They won't tell us. The administration won't yet tell us how many people actually have insurance. And if you remember back in October when we said how many people have applied for Obamacare, they said, well, it's complicated. We can't tell you right now. And then later it came out. You remember when it was 6, when we found out later afterwards that the 6 people had, well, no wonder they didn't say.
We had the 6 people line up in the studio just to give the audience the feel for, just how many that is, just in case they needed help interpreting 6.
Right. What that would feel like on the internet is even smaller. So the question is, of those 2.1 million people, how many of them are real? How many of them are ghosts in the machine, bogus signups, corrupted data that don't result in insurance? How many of them actually pay? Well, we don't know, and they're not saying.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, because in your Power Play column today, you say that this number, 2.1 million, because they seem pretty proud of it.
Right.
You say this is a rather stunning admission of defeat. Why is that a stunning admission? Because, if they wanted 3 million, they got 2.1. They figure 900,000 were the casualty of healthcare.gov being such an abysmal failure, which they say is now running great. And, those people will probably come on board, they think, in the next few months.
Well, you worked in this city long enough to know that whatever the number is at the end, these politicians will say is a great and stunning success, is a towering achievement, no matter what it is. If they only had 8 people, if they went from 6 to 8, they'd say, this is fantastic.
Going in the right direction.
Right, exactly. We're making progress. But we also know this, that if you cause to be canceled more than 6 million policies, touting the fact that you have destroyed and then recreated 2.1 million policies. I was not a math major, but I'm pretty sure that this leaves us in about a 4 million insurance policy gap That's not good. Obamacare was designed to give people who didn't have the selling point on Obamacare
but they
anyway.
they say that it doesn't end at the 2.1 million. They talk about the math saying another 3.9 million are Medicaid eligible, and another 3 million are those kids who are, you know, under age 26 who can now stay on their parents' policies. So they're saying, you know, 2.1 enrolling in the private plans,
Right.
3.9 Medicaid, 3.0 26 and under.
Well, how would you like, well, the kids are the kids. They've been touting those kids for years now, and they exist. That's real. That doesn't change. But how would you like it, when they talk about that Medicaid number, how would you like to go from being a paying customer for insurance that results in health care to go from being that person to a person who gets a welfare insurance program that often does not result in any actual care and dumps you into the emergency room so that you don't get real care, but instead you get Medicaid? That's not good.
Yeah. We've had people on the show talking about exactly that and what it does to their psyche. Chris, thank you.
You bet. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.